now on the Vintage Collector.
So this is a Psion netbook. We have a computer tape reel and I'm waiting for something to happen. Yeah, we hear the beeps. I probably had the same visual impression as you have right now. So there's no display or image coming up. I know nothing about this machine except that I wanted to have one.
Obsolete computer technology is my passion. I'm the Vintage Collector and these are my stories. This episode is sponsored by PCBWay.com, your source for CNC machining, 3D printing, PCBs and more.
It's yet another luggable machine that I've got here. About the size of a suitcase. And yeah, this is an IBM machine. It's the P70. And the P70, this is something in between a luggable and portable machine. It's coming from a transitional period in around, I think, 1987-ish or so. This hit the market. It is a micro-channel architecture base, so this is coming from the IBM PS2 line of computers. How does this one come out? So Floppy comes out. So this one already has a 1.44 megabytes floppy drive, and it also has this thing here. This one is a very special construction. If you lift up the keyboard, it would shut the power off automatically, so it wouldn't overheat. You cannot keep it running with the keyboard lid closed. And it's a PS2 machine, so I'm not too much into the IBM PS2. I got confronted with some of them during the 90s, especially PS1 series, which was more like the consumer market oriented devices. But this one is really nice because it marks the transition between the IBM PC Portable and the IBM PC Convertible, which both I have. Later came then the ThinkPads, and this is a device that was really in between these times. Now let's see, when we tested it, it powered on. It does now as well, but there was no, yeah, we hear the beeps, more beeps, 2 beeps. So there's no display or image coming up, so the display is not showing anything. So this is something to be looked after, what's happening here. I've been reading up a little bit. You hear the floppy drive seek already. So I think the machine largely works. I've been reading up a little bit about this particular symptom, and it seems to be a possibility that you just need to swap the capacitors on the graphics board. This seems to be a very typical symptom of these machines. So I will tear this apart as well at some point and try fixing it, because also for this one it would make a really nice companion for the storytelling of what I'm planning ahead right now. So really nice machine. I was looking for this one as well for a good while now already, and everything that you have seen, by the way, most of it, you didn't see one machine yet, but all the machines that you have seen to this point, I've got all of them here in Switzerland, and especially some of them were really hard to get here in Switzerland, so it's quite rare. And of course you can get them on eBay, but you pay fortunes for these devices, and I must be honest, without the generosity of the donators, sometimes I get it for free, and sometimes I just pay a small, more rather like a symbolic price. But without the generosity of the donators, I couldn't afford to get all this gear. It is what it is, because if I would go now even for this one on eBay, it would hit something like 400, 500, 600-ish euros, even more if it comes complete with packaging and handbooks and everything. Then you really pay fortunes for these machines. On the other hand, yeah, here I got one which is broken, so I will need to fix it. But this is what makes it also interesting. So it's not just installing it, but really doing something it and bringing it back to life. This is something that I really have a lot of fun with. And this very moment I'm just thinking that I might be actually splitting this video in 2 parts, because it's really so much stuff. It's unbelievable. So I'm just putting this one briefly here into the overhead camera. Basically, yeah, it's floppy disks. And I had one for this one, I put that here as well. I will have to look that through. They will get the usual treatment. I'm gonna see what I can save, what is even worthwhile preserving or uploading to winworldpc.com. For the others, I might just as well be formatting these floppy disks. Yeah, there's some stuff here, those 7 and well, whatever.
And here comes a word of mention for my sponsor, PCBWay. We've been partnering up a few months already, and while for the current episode series PCBWay was only mentioned as being the episode sponsor, I have actually been doing 2 projects with PCBWay already in previous episodes. Like the replacement knob for the COMPAQ Portable Plus, or the bezels and mounting brackets for this COMPAQ Portable 3. I've decided to go along with PCBWay, who is generously furnishing me with supplies on my projects. A wide variety of services is available, be it 3D printing, but also CNC machining, and of course everything around PCB production and assembly. And when joining up, which you can do by following the link in the video description below, you even receive a free $5 welcome voucher. At the time, I'm for the most into 3D printing, as this is for the most where I'm in the need of hard to get replacements, especially when it comes to trim panels. But I do have some ideas for the future involving actual PCB productions, like my Knight Rider kit's CPU prop showcased on my sister channel. Stay tuned for another project coming up in around the second half of May.
So there's really some nice stuff in here, I tell you. So this is something that might come in handy for PS2 machines. So this is memory expansion boards. I'm not gonna go into more detail here, but this one, I've got this one. I didn't plan to get it, but it sounded then interesting. This is a SIMPad, so some kind of tablet. It was given to me by the same guy who gave me the other stuff, the C64 and the P70. I didn't read up too much yet about it, so I just know some rough idea that it ran Windows CE, so it's a late 90s device. It comes complete with a dock. I do have some accessories to it. There's even the stylus.
Who wants a stylus? Nobody wants a stylus.
And the previous owner installed Linux on it, so I will have to see. For me, it's more like having it authentically restored into the original condition. So how would I, if I can, get Windows CE back onto that machine? So let's see. So here is gazillions of flat band cables. Maybe I'll just put this aside briefly. So this is a data switch terminal. I do happen to have any such already. So in here are 2 keyboards. Here is a disassembled external hard drive. of some sorts. So this is just, whoops, this is just random junk. USB hub, here's some mouse, external swappable disk drive caddies. So I was given this. So this is a collection of various chips, CPUs of any sorts. Had I known, I was buying cables like these just recently. I still have an upcoming story about 10-base-2 networking. So now I've another one of these cables. So this has been modded as it was used for something to tinker with, but this is, and I will need to see if it still works, of course, a Psion MX5. I think I got another one of these. Then I do have, maybe this one still, I don't remember if we tested this. I think we did. Or didn't we? Can you read it? Camera. NetBook. So this is a Psion netbook. Power. It's actually still powered on. Nice. Battery is still charged, so it's working. So this seems to be still the original software on it. I will need to look into it. I have no idea about this device, but as I'm also collecting for the most, I'm collecting portable machines and trying to document the mobile computing evolution. This one certainly makes a really nice companion to that story. Oh, look at this. I was looking for one like this. I have misplaced my SCSI terminator. I was experiencing in one of my last videos issues with SCSI bus termination. So nice. Don't misplace this. So here's some more random accessories, also some floppy disk, CD stuff. Another CPU. Okay, so this one needs cleaning. And I think this is memory modules here on the back side. And the CPU is stuck here on the cooler, as you can see that. But from the size, I would say this is a 486 class CPU. Yeah. This is a PowerBook, the G4. I do have one of these, although I think if I clean this one, it looks a lot better than the one that I have, given if it still works. We didn't test this one apparently, but I do have the power supply, and I do hope it still works. So let's give it a brief shot. Here I'm really curious if it still works. Doesn't power on. No, come on. Not really. Maybe it needs to sit a moment. Let's give it a moment. Got another one, which is a heavyweight. I just happened to walk by. So this is a Sony Vaio series notebook. What should I say? Yeah, I like the Sony Vaios. I do have a few Sony Vaio type series devices already, although much smaller. So this is a regular style laptop. But actually I had one of these myself. One with a, can I say it, with a mini disc player. I also happen to have the picture book, the PCG one, which I still have in the collection, and I do have more Sonys. So this is just yet another one. So obviously, besides my fable to IBM and COMPAQs, Sony it is as well. So let's see. It's a little bit dirty, but I see nothing serious. Maybe I'm lucky. This one powers up. At least it's alive down here. And it's a huge display. This is 16.1. Okay, the BIOS battery is dead, but I think that can be fixed. 256 megabytes of RAM. It boots up. So yet another machine I don't need to fix. Nice, nice. It's still working. PCG GRX 316 MP. So it's a Pentium 4 1.6 gigahertz with 256 megabytes of RAM, and as it looks like a 96 gigabytes hard drive. Well, yeah, that's fairly decent. So this is something like, what is this, about 2004-ish, 4-ish period. Still working, nice, but it definitely also needs to reinstall one. Always reinstall the things. I don't want to have any of this data. I'm not even bothering to look into it because I'm interested into the machines, not into the data. So even if somebody gives me something like here where there's still stuff in it, I don't care. It will be over formatted. This one is interesting. This one is interesting. Yeah, I probably had the same visual impression as you have right now. What is this? Looks like a PCM CIA card, but actually I was then also surprised to learn what it actually was. What is it? It's a mouse. Ultra compact mouse, supposed to be stored in the PCM CIA slot. Obviously has a built-in battery. No idea if it still works. Let's see if I can actually recover this. This is really an awesome piece of technology. Even if it doesn't work, nothing to be thrown away, because I've never seen something like that. Never ever. I didn't know something like that even existed. But it's actually a really nice idea to stow a compact mouse into the PCM CIA slot. Then we've got something. I know it existed. I never had one of these. Never ever in my life. But this is a SuperDisk drive. So that's the 120 megabytes. Supposed to be successor to the 3.5-inch floppy drive. And I think this drive should actually read the old 1.44 megabytes floppy disks, but I think this one failed. Imation brought this out. I think they competed quite a bit with iOmega and the zip disks, but ultimately lost to the zip disk, which ultimately lost itself to things like the CD-ROM rewritable. So actually, and then later on the DVD, so even the zip drives and zip disks disappeared. Okay, this is nice. This is nice. It's a handheld. It's an iPAQ. It's an iPAQ. And it still comes up if I power it up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Stylus is there. Oh, Steve Jobs. Yorks. You have your finger, but Windows C. I never had C devices, but I always glimpsed at them because I was fascinated about running this kind of mobile Windows in your hands. Here we should see it. Windows Microsoft Pocket PC version 3, dated to 2001. And where is it? Where is it? Here it is. 64 megabytes of memory. Nice. Still working. Nice. Here's something. This is more something to keep. I cannot really do something with it, but this is just interesting from a historic point of view. This is a tape reel for music. Got two of them, so it's just interesting because it's yet another special kind of media. And here we have a computer tape reel. And I've been looking at finding one like this on eBay, but here as well they sell for fortunes, so I never got one. Now there was just, I happened to get one. Now I don't have any means to read it out, so it's just something to have. I happen to have as well somewhere 8-inch floppy disk from IBM, so this is more like something for the Hall of Fame of computing history. Here's another obscure box. I don't remember what was inside. Ah, yeah, now I remember. So this comes from a time where video editing really needed the punch. So this is a video editing board giving you hardware assisted processing power. It would be interesting. It's complete. The software is in here as well. So here's the software, the CDs. There's even Adobe Premiere. An external connector bracket. Everything is in here. Even some of the cables are there. I think it's really complete. Now, I mean, I'm not doing video editing on Windows. I use the Mac. I use Final Cut Pro, and thank God nowadays with SSDs and the capabilities you have, it's no longer a problem. But in the 90s, in the late 90s, with multimedia, there was no hardware assisting support yet, and the CPUs were not as capable as today. So you needed something like that. There were similar things as well for DVD playback. You could only, I think, after the 2000s, you could do playback of DVDs on contemporary hardware and software only decoding. Before that, you needed a decoder board like the ones from Sigma Designs, which had the MPEG decoder chips. You would offload it to that board for the processing. So, what we've got here, something you never can't have enough. So, memory modules. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. This is the small memory modules, which might actually be the ones that I need to fit into that iMac. Maybe I'm lucky. Here's more of them. Maybe I'm lucky. This is more memory modules. Check it out. .386s used those a lot back in the days. So, alright. Promise Technology ATA 66 controller. I think even a software rate controller. Promise was strongly known for software rate back in the days. More interface cards. What is this? Oh, this is interesting. A postcode analysis card for the ISA bus. Do have one of these already, but yeah, sure, why not? And here, this seems to look like a SCSI controller, is it? Adaptec 2940. Look at this, awesome. A TV card. Hey, this looks like brand new. Just wondering if this is just some random one or if this is actually a IPAQ. It's not written on it, so it might be a random. It's a TV card. Absolutely. Nice. Nice. Back from the old days when you wanted TV, you needed a card to hook it up, and I think this belongs to it. Remote control. And here is Sound Blaster Live PCI. Sound Blaster Live PCI. Nice, really nice. This also looks like brand new, as if it were never used. Nice, awesome. Absolutely cool. Interesting. This looks like a Connor. Yeah, it is a Connor hard drive. A Connor hard drive. It's a 120 megabytes hard drive. There's more hard drives, but this is now what really I'm happy for. So here's a Seagate hard drive. And yet another one of the same make, I think. Yes, the same. And I would say, what is this? Yeah, probably as well, like something like a 160 megabytes hard drive or something like that. Here's another. This is a later generation, 2.5 inch. Disk drive, Toshiba. And this one, it's 10 gigabytes hard drive. Here's another, this is another one, Western Digital. Now this really, if this one works, it would be very, very nice. This is from 730 megabytes, so this is about 1998 period, roughly. Then we're coming back to full height. Seagate ST1239. You tell me where this belongs. This is interesting. This is interesting. We've got yet another one. Yet another Western Digital. 212 megabytes. Okay. I need to test those disk drives if they still work. That would be awesome, because getting ID hard drives near to impossible nowadays, especially working ones. So here's another floppy drive, 3.5 inch. A mounting bracket for a floppy drive, 3.5 inch. Okay, this doesn't belong here, and yeah, but it still looks intact. It still looks intact. It might be still be working. It's a 5.5 inch floppy drive. Yet another CD-ROM. Yet another CD-ROM slot-in drive. Happen to have exactly this one. And here we have yet another one. I don't know why there is a tape stuck up front, but yet another 5.25 inch drive. That's about it. So now comes the moment you've all been waiting for. I made some room here. Why? Because I'm gonna put something there which needs a lot of space, and is, of all the things that I've shown you today, probably the most hard to ever get machine. Do you know what this is? This is a NeXTstation color of 1991. Sort of turns on. I know nothing about this machine except that I wanted to have one. So I powered it up now. And I'm waiting for something to happen. Ah, that was it. That was it. You have to power it up. I know nothing about this machine. I'm sorry. I'm total noob here. So this is it. This is it. Nice. It's coming up. Though I was told the hard drive was defective. I didn't see it coming up into next step or open step or whatever was supposed to be installed on here. But in wise preparation, I have gotten myself this one. So this is an ST to SCSI adapter, so I can replace the hard drive, as I was told by the pre-owner that the drive actually had failed. So I'm prepared to do some replacement here with a more modern SD card. But hey, it's working. And here's the power button on the keyboard. Steve Jobs took definitely some inspiration from Apple's with having the power button on the keyboard and not somewhere on the chassis of the machine, obviously. Yeah, so I'm very curious. So NeXTstation on Obtainium. I got this here in Switzerland. Almost impossible to get, and I'm really happy I got this. And yeah, well, that was it. I'm through. That was all the gear I had to show for today. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. It was just a walkthrough. This was totally not scripted at all, as opposed to all the other videos I'm usually doing. They're all scripted and cut down. This one is cut down as well because there's some length in between, and this is then not so much interesting. Yeah, I'm the vintage collector, and this was my story for today. Expect some of the things you saw here to appear soon again on this channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
If you check out this channel's community tab, you'll find some polls on potential upcoming videos. You're very welcome to upvote on upcoming topics or drop in new ones you'd like me to chase down.